All right, hi everyone. Part 6 of problem set 2. This is our 12th and final data file. And in this one, we're going to be learning a little bit about checking for ages if you had a data file for your employees, and also the CountIF function. So in this problem, what we want to do is start by referencing the birth date. And Excel knows what today's date is, and you can always find today's date by typing in equals today, and then putting in two parentheses because you're not going to be doing anything to today's date. So just equals today would be today's date. And yes, this is under age, but that's not what it's referencing. It's just returning today's date. All that's doing, right? Well, what we can do is if we know today's date and we know when someone was born, the difference of that is going to be how many days old they are, right? It's not going to tell us the age. We have to get there eventually. But if we take today's date and subtract when they were born, we're going to be given a weird number because it doesn't really know how to compute that. So instead, we want to change this to a general format, and that's going to tell us how many days old the person is, okay? And if I know how many days old somebody is, well, I can figure out how many years old they are by dividing their age by the number of days in a year. So what we can do is we can take today's date, put parentheses around all of this. Today's date, again, there's double parentheses because you're not doing anything to today. Today minus C2, formatted as general, will give us the number of days old somebody is. And then you're going to divide it by 365.25 because that's the actual number of days in a year. That's why we have leap year, because there's a quarter of a day every year and we make it up every 4 years. So divided by 365.25, it's going to be pretty close. Depending on when the leap year falls, it might be off by a couple of days, and somebody might be flagged as 21 when they're not, but you just have to use your best judgment, I guess, as a manager at that point. So again, it's going to change the age back to this weird formatting, and we just got to change it back to general. And we can see the person's 24 and change years old, but most people don't say I'm 24.32 years old. You might say 15 and a half or 10 and a half when you're younger, but at a certain point we stop counting the half years. So let's do one more thing to this, which is typing INT at the start of this, adding another set of parentheses at the end. And INT stands for integer. Integer is a whole number, so it's just going to display whatever the whole number version of that is. And again, change it back to general. Oops, I forgot something here. All right, open parentheses again, close parentheses again. There we go. All right, there we have it. So today's date minus their birth date. Take that number divided by 365.25, and then type integer at the start. Make sure you have parentheses added around everything, and that'll get you how many years old somebody is. We can copy this down to the very bottom, and we get the age for all of our employees. Now, in most places, you have to be 21 or up to serve alcohol. So why don't I go ahead and type 21 up here, and AARP eligibility starts at age 50 or above. So I'll go ahead and put that in the data file for you, so you have a reference in case you're not sure how old somebody has to be to serve alcohol, or how old you have to be to have AARP eligibility. So what we want to do in this one is simply write an if statement. So I want you to think back to your if statements to determine whether this person is eligible to serve alcohol or not. And I want you to display yes or no if they are or aren't eligible to serve alcohol. So if this person is 21 or up, then yes, they can serve alcohol. If not, then no, they can't. Remember that if you want text to display, you need to put that text in quotation marks. If you get lost, go back to the videos on if videos. Same thing here. We want AARP eligibility. So if this person's 50 or older, then yes, they're eligible for AARP membership. Otherwise, they are not. Okay. The next thing I want you guys to do is find the age of the average employee. So averaging out this is an average function Age of the youngest employee is the minimum equals min of these ones. Age of the oldest employee is equals max. The oldest one is equals max. So that's the three here. But I am going to walk you through this one. And this one's going to be a CountIF function because I don't believe we've done CountIF yet. And this is count the number of cells that match a certain criteria. So I'm going to write CountIF. I'm going to start writing count, and I can see CountIF here. Double click it. This is the range, comma, what's the criteria? And I'm going to put in parentheses, this is the number of employees under the age of 40. So under 40, end quote, in parentheses, and it's going to give me 3 because it's going to count the number of people that match that. And since this is this has been a modified number, we have to put this in quotes so that it matches the text of this. If we just put less than 40, this is a formula. It doesn't contain the number 40 by itself. It contains this formula. So we're putting quotes to say that if this is displaying a number less than 40, then return the value. So count if this is less than 40, and then if they are greater than or equal to 50, count them here. So do that, and then what I would like you to do is do some conditional formatting. So right here, I'd like you to highlight a certain color if they are eligible to serve alcohol, and a different color if they're not. And the same thing here for AARP eligibility. Highlight one color if they are eligible, highlight a different color if they're not. And you can do that with conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, and then text that contains. So they're eligible if they have the word yes. So if the text in this box contains the word yes, then they're eligible for AARP eligibility. So what I have here is conditional formatting. You can see if the cell contains no, then I have it set to something. If the cell contains yes, then I have it set to a different color. So that's all there is for this one. After the VBA of the last two, I think this should be a breeze for you guys. Thanks, everyone. I will look forward to your problem sets.